Hi guys, welcome to my new video on the impact of COVID-19 on hospitality industry and our way forward. Today we will see various aspects of the deadly attack of this virus on travel and tourism. Let's take the example of Kerala, the federal state of India, as our sample for dissertation. We will start with a review. We will have a hypothetical situation analysis. Let's see what are the opportunities that is awaiting us. Let's also see what are the short-term and long-term strategies that we should implement. Don't you all think we are exposed to too many news and literatures regarding how the pandemic will change our lives forever and the business we are in? Ain't we constantly reminded of an imminent wipeout of hotels and other hospitality industry due to economic downfall and lost tourism? Warnings are also doing rounds on the rest situation of cruise liners and business hotels. We are forced to expect a terrifying post-corona period as like the sword of Damocles over our head. I agree to disagree with the exaggerated videos and news that's daunting us daily. Apparently, we all agree that the situation is grave and an absolute new approach is required. Strategies need to be revitalized and reworked to combat the danger. However, I feel much news regarding this is overrated and magnified many folds. As such, the economy is volatile with numerous other aspects, and these stories are scaring us in a manner that is draining our energy, braveness, and optimism. As we all know, authorities around the globe have put in place ban on travel and are enforcing social distancing and quarantine to contain the pandemic. Travel and tourism industry almost ceased to function post March 2020. This has put up massive financial liabilities with irreparable consequences. A scenario of over tourism to non-tourism in a space of a few months. The World Trade Organization has, in their press release on the 6th of March, have forecasted a decline of 2 to 3 percentage or below 10 percentage of tourism decline. However, the one on the 6th March has forecasted 20 to 30 percentage decline. So, in a matter of a few weeks, we understand the alarming situation of the deadly attack, virus attack. Uncertainty is lurking everywhere. No one has a crystal ball. It remains unclear how the pandemic will develop until September and how the travel bans and massive job losses will impact tourism. But it is clear that the magnitude of the impact is no ordinary shock to the global tourism as a whole. But said this, and keeping this in mind, the disaster effect of the deadly corona on our industry, putting the globe on a standstill, I am hopeful that it's just a matter of time for us to bounce back to normal. Most of you watching this video would be wondering why I'm so optimistic. I can list down the reasons. The first one, man's quest for travel and leisure cannot be contained for long. The second one, we have been tested time and again with global recession of 2008-2009, floods, September 11 terror attack, severe acute respiratory syndrome of 2015, Ebola of 2013-14, Spanish flu in 1918-1919, we had the MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome in 2012, swine flu in 2009, Hanta, Zika, Nipah, avian flu, the list is quite long. The third one, in the case of China, the first country to go through this crisis, McKinsey & Company has found consumers were regaining confidence and interestingly, a great interest in environmentally friendly products were observed. Does the word ecotourism and Kerala potential pop up in your head? The fourth point, according to study done by Downs, public attends to issues in a cyclic fashion. A problem leaps into prominence, remains there for a short time, and though still largely unresolved, gradually fades from the center of public attention. The 2003 SARS outbreak illustrates this well, as tourism growth to Asia picked up very quickly once the perceived threat diminished. These 3-4 points make me very optimistic, and it won't take. I understand and I believe that it won't take a longer time for us to bounce back to normal. Here, let's analyze a few hypothetical situations. The first one, travel and tourism may not get back to its feet at least for next 4 years. This has been numerous literatures, videos and researches done by many other people. And most of them have the feeling that this travel and tourism will not be back to normal for the next 4 to 5 years. Few have predicted as long as 10 to 15 years. But as we discussed in the introduction, I think this is an rated statement. Most of the countries have almost contained the spread of the disease. Agree, the US and the Russia have been falling behind to contain the disease. But there are countries which has already contained the spread of the disease. Countries are working hard on vaccines. And if we can believe the recent reports coming out of Italy and Israel, it won't be far when the vaccines will reach the market. Pharmaceutical companies in India have pointed out on a probable success for them by the month of September. US too have declared a solution by the end of 2020. FTS may take a longer time, though not as long as 4 years, but hospitality industry can always focus on the potential domestic market. The second hypothetical situation is when there is no support from the government and local administration. This is completely out of question as the government of Kerala spends the highest on tourism marketing than any other states in India. Tourism accounts for 10% of the state's GDP and 23% of employment. Though the industry should realize that there can be more stringent measures to comply post-corona crisis, social distancing, regulation on mice should be expected for a few more months. Kerala government should think of decentralizing. Here, this one point is very valid. I think Kerala government should think of decentralizing the market to private players and play the role of facilitator as they have envisioned that in their Kerala Tourism 2025. And this will help them to have a better reach and innovation to bring in footfalls. Government should look into getting the infrastructural necessities to be completed on war footing. We all know there are countries like Sri Lanka whose demography and culture are much similar to Kerala's. They are waiting to buy their share. The third hypothetical situation is emergence of chain hotels, a large number of chain hotels emerging in Kerala. This can be true to a certain extent, as many independently owned resorts and hotels in Kerala are already on the verge of closure, mainly due to mismanagement and partly due to economic downfall, flood and other disasters that have hit the state repeatedly, leaving remote chances for a bounce back. Chain hotels with their fat pocket, more resilience, they can withstand business losses for far better than the independent hotels. Moreover, they stand a good chance of convincing the guests of the inevitable hygiene and other norms adopted by them to receive the travelers, thereby increasing their market share. This one point would be true, that chain hotels would be the one that can withstand this pressure, the pressure that we are going through, the revenue losses what we are going through. Now let's see what is the silver lining in the cloud. Let's see what are the opportunities that is awaiting us. The first point is medical tourism. This will be the next big revenue generator for Kerala post COVID-19, provided a well composed effort are made to market it. Kerala model is discussed and appreciated around the world. The health minister, the chief minister, they all have won appreciation and attention of world leaders, and medias like Vogue magazine have been commenting on their commendable role in fighting the pandemic. Doctors from Kerala works in every nook and corner of the globe. They have garnered accolades for their expertise and commitment. A lot of private players have stepped into the healthcare arena, giving it a new boost as well as more professional approach and scientific interventions. Public sector too has a long history of cheap and best treatments. While the cost of many surgeries, you should note this, that the cost of many surgeries and medical procedures in Kerala are 3 times or less cheaper than what it is in Europe or the American continent. The quality and reliability is still inimitable. Secondly, Ayurveda. Ayurveda has always been an USP for Kerala tourism marketing. As discussed earlier, we have seen from studies done in China, which clearly shows consumers' preference to environmentally friendly products is gaining momentum. So Ayurveda can be a clear winner for our inward medical tourism. The second opportunity is the domestic travel market. Initially, the international tourism will be slow or almost nil. However, there are a great lot of domestic tourists that can be attracted to the state. India itself is a huge market with its vast geographical and cultural diversity. Kerala gets its major chunk of domestic tourists mainly from its own state or from its neighboring state like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh. Meanwhile, a great lot of potential domestic market from rich states like Punjab, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Delhi, they have gone untapped. Notwithstanding, a great lot of money spent on roadshows and marketing We have failed miserably to attract tourists from these places. So this is the right time to step into these areas and grab the lion's share. The fourth point, the fourth opportunity is MICE. Akin to international tourism, MICE also will have hiccups before it could be brought back to normal. We may not see large gatherings, exhibitions or meetings for a long time. But don't think your revenue out of MICE is completely gone. As is the big Indian weddings cannot wait for a long time in quarantine. They will have to be rich and pompous as before, with slight restrictions on the number of invitees and the size of hall maybe. Hybrid events may become the need of the hour. As you all know, a hybrid event is a trade show, conference, seminar or a workshop or any meeting which combines a live in-person event with a virtual online component. Here you may have a panel of limited people present in the meeting place and an audience attending online. Many of you may have already attended a hybrid event because now it's increasingly becoming common over the past few years. Homestays. Though still nascent, homestays are a growing phenomenon across the globe. And India numbers among the most promising countries for this segment, and that is for the good reasons. Homestays can provide an experience of true Indian hospitality, unlike many formal hotels or any hotels, which comes with limitations. Homestays often provide a level of comfort which even the most reputed hotels cannot hope to match. There is no doubt that the Indian hospitality industry must diversify its offerings to keep up with the call of the hour and tap into this extraordinary potential. The sixth opportunity, the untapped markets. The Economic Review 2016 of the Government of Kerala shows that the majority of tourists come to Kerala from the US, UK and France. This is despite a massive chunk of marketing fund spent on roadshows and other marketing events all around the world. We do everywhere. We do roadshows and marketing, and we do in Middle East, in Latin American countries, we do in Europe. But as you can see, the basic or the major chunk of business is coming from, or FTAs are coming only from US, UK and France, and maybe to a certain extent from Saudi Arabia. We have failed to attract tourists from Latin American countries, most of Europe and even the South Asian countries. Kerala is placed only at 7th place among the top 10 destinations to visit in India. Point to be noted here is that Kerala spends the highest amount among all states against tourism promotion. Also, it is observed that Kerala attracts tourists from the middle class or lower middle class stream whose spend power is low. Post-corona, there should be concerted effort to reach to the high-end market. The last point of the opportunity is we will have a lot of laid-off staff from other countries returning to Kerala. This is a sad state of affair because many people are losing jobs in other countries. But once they come back to Kerala, we'll have a pool of more trained and professional staff to choose from, whereby that increases the overall standard of service. So we can see that as an opportunity. The last but not the least, let's see what are the short-term and long-term strategies for our industry going forward. The first one, of course, hygiene standards. This, by now, it has gone to everybody's head that it is of utmost importance for our personal life, for our professional life. So now this will gain prominence for attracting businesses. For any hospitality industry to restart successfully, the key to success is instilling consumer confidence that a hotel premise is clean, safe and secure. Guests previously may not be so thoughtful, but moving forward, they'll be conscious about the hygiene of the hotel, the rooms and bed in particular. This will be the major criteria of them choosing one over the other. I have read that some countries have already begun putting this into practice. The Singapore Tourism Board is learned to have launched a new clean auditing initiative that measures hotel compliance with 7 criteria for cleanliness. The properties will be considered SG Green or SG Clean if the hotel meet the standards. Something we should be looking forward to copying ourselves. Using of hand sanitizers, temperature checks, screening the travel history, all will become part of our life. Use of ultraviolet germ detection. Yes, this again is a valid point. Now, many hospitals have started using this some time back in India. The use of ultraviolet germ detection system. Now this will become part of our hotel industry as well. This can be used in rooms, lobbies, public areas. And again, there should be a revitalized SOP for laundry and garbage management. The third point I want to discuss in this topic is the emphasis on IT. With digital and contactless service becoming the norm, ensure our hotel is ready for digitalization of core operational processes such as check-in, check-out, and the use of mobile room keys. We should be ready for cashless transactions. Let's get some good quality screen and AVs for hybrid events. There should be many places already using handheld devices for order taking, but that again will become a necessity. Study of the reviews of the hotel and also step taken on the hygiene post-corona. Thus, a well-designed, updated, and well-informative website is crucial. The fourth point is multitasking. Till the time the business picks up, and also from the point of view of social distancing norms, hotels will be forced to run with limited staff. So hotels should cross-train staff for a better efficiency. The fifth point I want to discuss is QMS, quality management systems. We have heard about a very limited number of hotels and industries going for hotel industry I'm talking about, which have gone for quality management systems like Six Sigma. However, this will going forward, this will become part of every hospitality industry, because this will help us in getting a better product, designing a better product, producing a better product, and then there will be a perfect control over expenses. No company will be able to move forward without any proper control over expenses. The sixth point is marketing. In revenue and the financial pressure suffered during the pandemic may force hotels to go for massive discounts and reduce prices. I personally do not think we should undersell. Rather than that, we should go for value add-ons. That will be a great marketing tool to attract guests. You can have a free airport pickup drop. You can give them an additional rate for their extra nights taken. So they can be add-ons. That will be a greatest tool than giving discounts and reduced prices. We can always attract international MICE, because there are a lot of countries which have been hosting MICE events all these years, which are already affected by Corona. So this is the right time we can pull all those MICEs from those countries and then we can host them here. Now, the next point is hotels in Kerala for a long time have been focusing on ARR, the average room rate. I think from moving forward, we should be more focused on RevPAR rather than ARR or ADR, some call it ADR. Back to nature is the next big thing that is going to happen. So we have to be prepared for that. People will be looking forward to hotels and resorts which is more closely to nature. So Kerala already have the reputation for eco-friendly hotels and tourism spots, and that can be highlighted to attract tourists from around the world. Restaurant menu shall include more varieties in healthy vegetarian options.